Hello, Professor Graves. Today I am going to talk about the myth of the culture of poverty assignment. So first, I'm going to talk about my experience on the placement game. While playing the game, I realized that we are all just like a paycheck away from being in poverty. There were several mishaps that came up where you have to decide, am I going to get my car fixed or I'm going to pay this bill? So it just gave me another sense of if something emergent comes up, I have to decide on what's priority. And there was one example where there was a car issue, and then I had to get on the bus, and that just made me realize, like, if that was to happen, if you don't have bus fare, if your car breaks down, then you're going to lose your job because you're going to come in late and you'll get fired. um any rate, so I just had that on my mind that you have to make rational decisions when you're dealing with situations that pop up emergent. And sometimes the good outweigh the bad, or the bad outweighs the good, vice versa. So that just made me think like we are all basically a paycheck away of being thrown in the streets, because anything can happen or pop up where you're stuck in a situation with paying a bill, or getting your car fixed, or a plumbing issue, etc. Um, also, in the text, there was the myth of poor people being unmotivated and weak and have poor work ethics. In the text, what I referred to, which is false, let me start by saying that, but I referred to Iverson and Farber, 96, Wilson, 97. Um, it says low income families have a one employed parent. Close to 60% have one parent that works full time all year round, um, and also have an additional job to make ends meet. So sometimes two, three, even four jobs, just to make ends meet and pay bills. And some cases, off experience, growing up, I have friends that had one parent that worked full time, and then the other one was disabled and they couldn't work full time, or they had some kind of like disability where there was on one source of income that was, you know, from one parent, and that other parent wasn't able to work because of physical, or they got laid off unexpectedly. So yes, I do know for a fact that it's not because someone is not motivated, is because certain situations had hit them in life where they could not work anymore, or work full time, or their pay has decreased, etc. And then you have one parent that's working full time, and they're working two, three jobs just to make ends meet. So I don't think they're unmotivated and weak. I just think, they do what they have to do to make ends meet and try to keep up the household, because knowing that one parent is disabled or had lost their job, or hours have been cut, the other parent has to pick up the slack. So imagine if it's a single parent home and that parent has multiple jobs just to pay the bills and take care of the kids. Um, in addition, there was another study. It says poor people tend to abuse drugs and alcohol. This is false. Um, they are no more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol than wealthier counterparts, according to text. And alcohol, drugs and alcohol equally distributed amongst each class. According to Chen, Kurji, Wallace, 2003, found that alcohol was significantly higher in upper middle class white high school students than among poor black high school students. Um, so I believe again that that's another false statement, because you have access to these things in each neighborhood. Doesn't matter if it's rich or poor, and people tend to turn to alcohol or drugs for different reasons, not because they're poor or rich or middle class. Is because some people drink because of problems, or they just have an addiction to drugs or alcohol and hasn't and haven't got the proper help. So it doesn't mean that because you're poor or you're in poverty, excuse me, that they're the sole class that tend to get into drug and alcohol. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good night.